better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows mean. He gets claws real big, pissed off quick, and if you cross him you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling this war, never getting bored, loves the blood and gore, always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel the force departed. If you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness, torn apart quick, you left scars ripped, you'll be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
Welcome to my Twisting Blades plus Barber build that I'm pleased to bring you. I'm sure you have been playing Twisting Blades for a while, my fellow rogues, and this build is not for everyone, and I will say this has been the most fun I've had on the rogue since release. Multiple explosions as you can see, and just the way it clears so fast is just so fun to me. Disclaimer, I am only level 71, 72, or 3 in this video, so much more improvements can be made, but I thought it would be a crime to not share this. Full link of the build will be down below, and I appreciate you all watching, and if you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright guys, get right into it. We have the talents, we have puncture, then fundamental puncture, 5 of 5 out of twisting blades, and improved twisting blades. Enemies are dazed while impaled with twisting blades, so that's very nice. We have 3 of 3 to sturdy, 12% close damage reduction. Then we have 1 and 1 in dash and shadow step, which is our 1 and 2 ability. 1 in discipline shadow step, and then 1 in discipline dash. Dash is now our slow, that's what's going to be applying our slow. And then we have 3 of 3 weapon mastery, and then obviously you want this on your necklace, but we'll get more into that in a later part. And then 3 of 3 concussive, 1 of 3 in trick attacks, and then 2 of 3 in rapid gambits. And then down to subterfuge, we got 3 of 3 in exploit and 3 of 3 in malice. And then down here are damage dealing, shadow imbuement, which is 3 of 5, and then we have mixed shadow imbuement, and then we have mixed poison imbuement, and 1 in deadly venom, and then 3 of 3 in alchemical advantage, and then lucky hit shadow damage has a 10% chance to stun for 0.5 seconds, so that's very nice. And then consuming shadows, each time you kill an enemy with shadow damage you generate 30 energy, which is very nice. When everything exploding you just get all your energy back in one go. So I don't know if you noticed that in the video, but that's what was happening. And that's what synergizes nice with Barber. Imbued skills gain 9% increased critical strike chance, so very nice. Precision imbuement 3 of 3. And then down here for our ultimate, obviously we're not taking an ultimate, we have 1 and 3 in adrenaline rush, and then 3 of 3 in haste, which is what we're really going for. And then our key passive is momentum as always. So we'll get into our gear next and aspects. Alright guys, so for the aspects, we're going to start from the helmet going down. We have the of might, or the aspect of might. Basic skills grant 20% damage reduction for a maximum of 6 seconds, so that's very nice. Our fundamental puncture grants vulnerable to enemies, so we're gonna be using that pretty often, so that'll be nice. Flat 6 seconds of flat damage reduction, so when we push high nightmare dungeons we'll have that pretty much all the time. Now for our chest, we have the protector. I have a max roll of this. Damaging the elite enemy grants you a barrier absorbing up to 6/460 damage for 10 seconds. This is a very high roll, so I'm very lucky for that. And for our gloves, we have aspect of corruption. Your imbuement skill has 38% increased potency against vulnerable enemies, which is very nice because we have 2 imbuments. And then for our legs, we have cheats. You take 24% less damage from crowd control enemies, so whenever you dash through enemies they become crowd controlled with that slow. Whenever you knock down, whenever you daze or anything like that, you'll always have 24% less damage taken, so that's very nice. And then Ghost Walker, while unstoppable for 4 seconds after, you gain 22% increased movement speed and can move freely, so whenever you shadow step, You can move freely for 4 seconds at a 22% increased rate, which is very nice because we're always on the move. And then two-handed aspect, we have blade dancers for the increased damage on it. Twisting blades orbit for a short time after they return to you, dealing 30% of twisting blades return damage per hit. Based on the distance the blades return, the orbit damage increased up to 60 of the return damage. So yes, this is max roll, so very nice. And then for our necklace, we have Choker of Disobedience. Our armor in general got a nerf, so we want to boost that up just by a tad. So we have it on our necklace. You gain 0.60 increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 36%, which is nice. So a flat 36% damage reduction. Aspect of the Ravenous, killing a vulnerable enemy grants you 58% increased energy regeneration for 4 seconds. So when everything explodes, you just get so much energy. It's so nice. And then of the Umbral, restore 4 of your primary resource when you crowd control an enemy, which is very nice, of course. And then for our weapon, we have Accelerating. Critical strikes with core skills increase your attack speed by 20%. So we're always critting, we're always attacking. This is just a nice aspect to have. And then Edge Masters. Skills deal up to 15% increased damage based on your available primary resource when you cast it, receiving the maximum benefit while you have full primary resource. So Inner Sight, our Inner Sight windows is just a ton of damage just because of Edge Masters, and that is why we need that a lot. Alright guys, so going into stat priority into gear, we're going to look at everything here. We have everything going from highest priority to lowest priority. So as you see, a lot of pieces have max life as being number 1. So if you really want to push high nightmare dungeons, you really want to go for the max life. Once you are in a crowd control, you don't want to take so much damage where you just get one shots by a overseer. So max life is very nice. So for the helmet, we have ranks to Shadow Imbue, ranks to Poison, and CDR being the lowest, as our Poison and Shadow Imbuement have a low cooldown as well, same with Dash and Shadow Step as well, but that's why we put CDR so low. Chest Armor has max life, damage reduction to close, damage reduction, and then Cutthroat skill damage. Not too highly important, but make sure you get some damage reduction and max life on your chest as well. Go into our most important gloves. Now if you get a Sacred Legendary gloves with these rolls on it, and they're pretty high, not the lowest roll, you want to keep that over Ancestral Legendary, so keep that in mind. Ranks of Twisting Blade, Crit Strike, Attack Speed, and Lucky Hit Chance. And then for pants, you have max life, damage reduction. Chest and pants are your damage reduction pieces. And then for boost, you have movement speed as top priority because you want to stay agile and moving around. And if you can, get the max evade charge 4, so you can always just be moving around, as you will see in the gameplay as well, that I'm always moving around and always just tagging enemies and moving. And energy cost reduction, ranks of Dash, ranks of Shadow Step, not too important, but just what you can get. And the amulet, ranks of weapon mastery, I'll show you that in a minute. And I mean, total armor and CDR being our lowest because our imbuements come off cooldown so quick, with movement speed being the most sought after. And then for our rings, I only have one because you're going to get the same thing for these. So max life, crit strike chance, crit strike damage, and bone damage. So both of these rings should go like that. Max life being number 1. And then ranged weapon, vulnerable, crit, core, dex, and same with dual wield weapon 1 and 2. Vuln, crit, core, and dex. And that should do it for the stat priority. And I did want to show you guys what I have on my gear, so if you have anything close to this or anything like that, you can always make this build work. It's very versatile to what you have. You don't have to have the god roll and everything. So I have on my helmet 4 ranks of Poison Imbue, Max Life, Shadow Imbue, and Life on Kill. Obviously the Life on Kill can go. And then chest I have damage reduction to close, total armor, max life, and 20 stats. And then our god roll, what we want for our gloves is... And then on our gloves, we want the Lucky Hit Chance, Crit, Attack Speed, and Twisting Blades. I had the Lucky Hit, so, or the up to a 5% chance to restore primary resource, so it's not the best, but, you know, I'm always looking for better. And then for the legs, I have damage reduction from close, max life, damage reduction while injured, and then imbuement skill, cooldown reduction, which is nice, but it's not damage reduction all around. That's what we want our chest and legs to be. And for my boots, I had the max evade charge, so I have 4 right here, so that's very nice. And then movement speed, almost max roll, which is nice. Damage reduction while injured, ranks to dash, ranks to shadow step, which is nice as well. And then for my weapon, I mean, it's not even close. My weapons are so bad. I cannot get a good one to drop for to save my life. But my necklace has +3 ranks of weapon mastery, which is very nice. 7.1 damage reduction, and then 7.1 CDR, which is terrible. I also have a necklace in the bank as well that has movement speed, but it doesn't have the ranks of weapon mastery, so I'm choosing that over that right now. And as you see, this is a 667 item power, so I keep that weapon master until I get it replaced. The rings, I have max life on everything I can get. So max life on these rings, max life on legs, max life on chest, and max life on helmet. So right here is pretty high, other than just leveling up. That's how I'm going to get my health higher now. But yeah, that's my gear. I just wanted to show you guys that. Alright, so going into the Paragon board, here's the start. Our first glyph is Closer. I have it as level 15 right now. 45.1% cutthroat skill damage. While wielding a melee weapon, you take 10% reduced damage, so that's nice. Just going up the right side of the board. Touching that one, 20% damage, 10% cutthroat skill damage. And so our next board, Exploit Weakness board with the Combat Glyph, 27.7 crit strike damage. Skills that critically strike restore 12% of their energy cost, so we're always critting as always. And then Artifice, 20% vulnerable damage and 10 dex, which is very nice. As you level up, you just want to go right side of the board, going all the way to Exploit Weakness. Whenever you deal damage to a vulnerable enemy, they take 1% increased damage from you for 6 seconds, up to 15%. Always nice as well. As you speed clear, you'll always keep that up. And then the next board is Cheap Shot. So going from to the right here, our glyph socket is Diminish. You take 10% reduced damage, physical damage from vulnerable enemies. And then we get Cheap Shot, obviously, before you get to the glyph spot. So you deal 5% increased damage for each nearby enemy that's crowd controlled. And if you're dashing through everyone's crowd controlled all the time. So that's all I have for the glyph. I'm not too high level right now. I will say I have all the Paragon points, so we have a very big bonus, so you might want to get that done if you have not done that yet. But that's it for the Paragon for now. Alright guys, so what really puts this build together is the Wrathful Heart Barber. So I have that in my necklace. So Wrathful Heart, critical strikes and all subsequent damage within 2.7 seconds is absorbed by your target. Then the absorbed damage erupts onto surrounding enemies. Stored damage is increased by 14% per second. So that is why you'll be stabbing an enemy, mainly an elite, with your twisting blades, and you'll see no damage, but after that period of time they will explode and causing huge, massive bursting AoE around you. This is what makes the build so fun. This is what I love about it, and I've tried the other Wrathful Heart and I just don't see the fun as much as I do with this one. Now I will say boss damage is low with this, but I will show you. For specializations, Inner Sight, you don't gain any Inner Sight against bosses with this build, so I might try the combo points out later on, actually tonight, and I will provide you guys with an update. But anyway, so for our silly other little hearts, we have Vicious Heart in our ring. Every 5 seconds while above 60% life, core skills cost 309 life instead of your primary resource. Skills that consume life deal 24% increased damage. And then for other one, resource draining effects are 84% less effective. In addition, gain 3% increased resource generation. So that's very nice with our talent point, Consuming Shadows. Each time you kill an enemy with shadow damage, you generate 30 energy. And then also our Ring of Umbral and everything else that gives us energy regeneration, so that just synergizes as well. So I recommend getting this Devious Heart as well. And I've tried the crackling damage one that shocks people with that heart, and it's just not as nice as these two right here, so I recommend going these 3 hearts as well. That really does it, guys. It's such a fun build to play. I've seen many comments online where people just don't like this build, but so when I got it for the first time, I was like, I gotta try it out. And I will say, if you're fighting one mob in a high nightmare dungeon, it takes multiple explosions, but I was doing nightmare dungeons 20 levels higher than I am with ease. The one you see playing now is just a 24 just to showcase the explosions, but Hell Tides are by far too easy, so if you're looking for powerful gear, take this build into Hell Tide and wipe out mini packs as they did increase the density of the mobs in there. Open world and Hell Tides are easy. High nightmare dungeon pushing the 20 levels or higher is a joke, but just remember to keep them all grouped up as much as you can for the explosions to hit each other and wipe full packs for energy. And watch your energy burst up to full with ease and enjoy the massive numbers. That's it for this one, and I'll see you all very soon.